Flix with the Hicks, where we tell you about the movies. We tell you if they're great or if they really stink. Now it's time to start the show. Yeah, now it's time to go. Guess what? It's Flix with the Hicks.
Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Flix with the Hicks. I'm Greg, this is my wife Janet, and each week we review 2 films that we watched on DVD. We always review the best film that we watched and the worst film that we watched, hopefully to give you guys an idea of what film you might like to see. This week I got to pick the worst film, and it wasn't a bad film. It was actually pretty good. The film that I chose is Step Brothers, starring Will Farrell, John C. Reilly, Richard Jenkins, and Mary Steenburgen. This film came out in 2008. It cost $65 million to produce, and it grossed $129 million. I didn't want to watch this movie. I thought, it's going to be a dumb movie for kids. It's, slapstick comedy. It was hilarious.
It was funny.
I really enjoyed it. And I don't know if the film was really that good or if we just needed a laugh. Because we laughed so hard through this movie. Mm-hmm. But basically, Mary Steenburgen is a single mother. Richard Jenkins is a single father. They both have boys that still live at home in their 40s.
Yeah.
And they end up dating, getting married, moving in together, and these 2 40-year-old men, who are actually boys in the film, end up sleeping in the same bedroom together. And they don't like each other. They're jealous of each other. And they pull pranks on each other. And they do mean things to each other. Yeah. And it is so funny. But what ends up happening is they literally destroy the marriage. Then they realize what they've done. And they have to somehow work together to get their family back together again. This movie is full of crude jokes. It's full of slapstick type comedy in places. But Will Farrell and John C. Reilly are able to pull this off.
They're good together.
Yes. I would love to see a sequel of this film. If you enjoyed Dumb and Dumber, that type of comedy, you would really enjoy this film. Yeah. And like I said, I didn't even want to watch it, but turns out I really enjoyed it.
I liked it too. It was one of the famous classic movies or something. But it was funny, and I guess we were in the mood for it. And you see these 2 grown men with their parents, which happens in real life, but you see how they're irresponsible, they're lazy, they're spoiled rotten, and of course they take advantage of the situation.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, but it was a good movie, really. Not great, but it was lighthearted. Well, it had some pretty dark parts in it, but it's funny.
It was hilarious. On a scale of 1 to 100, I would give this film, I'd give it a 79.
Oh yeah? And it's called Step Brothers, right?
Yes.
Step Brothers. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they were Step Brothers. But I'll give it like a 82, because it was funny, and I like Mary. I liked everybody in it. But yeah,
but
it's funny.
If you're wanting to watch a serious drama or a really good, powerful film, this isn't the film to watch. If you are having a bad day and you want to just laugh, this is the film for you. It'll do that.
It will.
So anyhow, Janet got to pick the best film of the week. What did you choose, Miss Jan?
Now, if you want a serious drama, true story type thing, watch Unbroken. It's good. It's a true story about an Italian guy that ends up being a POW in the Second World War. Okay. It's good. Okay. It came out in 2014. They made it for $65 million. It made $163 million. And Angelina Jolie and the Coen brothers got together to do this movie. And Jack O'Connell plays this Louis Zamperini, Italian guy. Okay. He did a great job. Okay. The story goes he's a kid that was bullied all the time by his other Italian little school kids, and he stole things. He got in trouble a lot, but his older brother noticed that, man, Louis, you can run fast. And yeah, he was running from everybody all the time from his bullying and stuff. And anyway, his brother said, well, why don't you start training to really run races and stuff? And he did. And he loved it. And he broke records in high school and everything. He held records for years and years. And he went to the Olympics. And he broke a record for the 500 meter on the last lap. He broke
5,000.
5,000 meter, yeah. And the last lap, he broke a record on that. And anyway, he was famous Olympian. And then the Second World War broke out, and he went into the Air Force and was a bombardier. Mm-hmm. And he was perfect for the job because he was good at math, and he had nerves of steel and endurance, and he was just great. Well, they had gotten shot at in their plane. They had to kind of crash land it. They made it back and kind of crash land it. It was missing like some of the landing gear and stuff like that. Well, since they didn't have their plane, they gave him this piece of junk plane that they called it the Lemon. And it's like pieces of all the other planes and stuff like that. Well, they ended up crashing in the ocean. And these guys were in a raft for 47 days.
The 3 survivors.
Yeah, the 3 survivors. On the 47th day, some Japanese sailors grabbed them, and then they got thrown into the POW camp. And there was this one asshole.
He's the guy that ran the POW camp.
Yeah. They called him Bird. And he knew that this guy was a famous Olympian. So he beat this guy and tortured this guy, and all the time. And finally, Bird got transferred. But then they moved all the POWs from this camp and moved them to a coal mining camp, POW camp. These poor guys, I mean, they were skinny, they were tortured, and if it didn't work, you were assassinated. And Bird was there, goes off on Louis again, over and over and over. And poor Louis, there's times where I think the only way he did survive is of his memories of his family and the running and stuff like that. But, servicemen endured so much, POWs and stuff. I mean, we don't appreciate our servicemen that fight for our freedom and stuff. And to see this man go through so much and all these other POWs and stuff, all I have to say is thank you to all the servicemen out there, and women, people that protect us. This man turned out, with everything he went through, he believed in forgiveness.
So what do you give your film, Miss Jan? 0 to 100.
Okay, I'll give it like a 95. I'll keep it. I'll watch it again. And my dad was in the Air Force, so at the very end of the World War II, he got into it. But at night it has some dark moments. It has a lot of dark moments, but I'll give it a 95. I'll keep this one.
I would give it an 89. I'd give it an 89. I thought it was a really good film. Difficult film to watch.